I thank the gentleman, and he yields back, and I now turn to the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Huelskamp, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you, Mr. Chairman, as well. And I know in one of your previous answers, you said your main priority, your top priority, was enhancing customer funds. And I want to follow up with a few more questions. I know you were unable to make our hearing in November on MF Global, and I understand. And these questions will be directed before you left or recuse yourself from the investigation. And so I'd like your comments that, given that 99% of MF Global's accounts were commodity accounts regulated by the Commission, do you think it is appropriate the bankruptcy was structured as a SEPA bankruptcy, thereby stripping customers of their priority status?
If I might just try to answer it as a general question about when futures commission merchants under our jurisdiction and regulation are also broker-dealers under the Securities and Exchange. There's the bankruptcy protection of SIPA, the Securities Protection Act, and there's the bankruptcy protection, which is in the bankruptcy code, and so forth, and they interact. But as I understand it from my knowledge of this from staff, is that once it's a joint broker-dealer futures commission merchant and there are securities customers at risk, the way the law interacts is that the Securities Commission and SIPA can put it into a SIPA trustee. The good news, though, from what I understand, is everything that's in the bankruptcy code to protect the futures customers, subpart 4, I think it's called, or our code rules 190, they have to use those same provisions.
But customers with segregated funds that were lost, they did lose their priority status. Is that correct with this approach in bankruptcy?
I might have to turn to Commissioner Summers because it's about this specific matter, but I don't know if I'm able to sort of.
I've got a couple of the questions as well, and Ms. Summers, if you would answer that question, I'd appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you, Congressman. In this SIPC proceeding for MF Global, commodity customers have an exclusive right to the customer property that were in the segregated accounts. They did not lose their priority status in that particular bankruptcy case.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Second question would be, Mr. Chairman, I guess, given it was obvious on October 31st, and I know you weren't able to make our November hearing, I guess, on this issue, it was obvious by then from the details that we've seen that customer funds were missing and likely commingled. Why didn't the Commission move immediately to freeze the assets of MFGI and MFGH with that knowledge in hand on October 31st?
I'll try to answer just that, what I know about from that weekend. I think that's before I was not participating. But just from what I know about that weekend, the company, MF, had filed that they were in compliance each day, and that weekend, most of that Sunday, was the company, not us, were working to move the customer positions to another company, Interactive Brokers. And so there was a series of conference calls on that Sunday to help facilitate the movement of that. And as it's been widely reported, it was somewhere around 2:30 in the morning that I was woken up and told, no, that's not the case. And then a few hours later, the protections of SIPA and the bankruptcy court were put in place.
Put in place on what day?
At
2:30 in the morning? The same day?
Well, no, Sunday? They weren't put in place until whatever, I don't know if it was 6 or 8 hours later.
Okay, so you had no knowledge, or no one at the Commission had knowledge before that, that there was commingling of funds occurring?
I can only speak to what I know of.
Well, yes, that's why I'm asking you the question. I want to ask anybody else because you're the head of the Commission.
No,
this is 10 days before you were accused.
I was woken up around 2:30 in the a.m. on the 31st of October.
And did they tell you funds were commingled at that time?
To be more precise, I was told that there was that the account was, I don't actually remember the words, but the word that you used was not used. It was just that the...
Well, tell me what word they used, please, if you would. If you can remember. We're talking about billions of dollars. I know we're talking about 2:30 in the morning for you, but these are billions of dollars for farmers and ranchers that have just been lost.
Absolutely. I recall being woken up and saying, being informed with a lot of people on a phone call, international regulators, the SEC and so forth, that the customer fund account was not, that the deal with Interactive was off and the customer funds account was not whole.
So there was customer funds missing, and that's what you were told?
I don't recall the exact words, sir.
Okay, and Mr. Chairman, if I might, for just 30 seconds, just trying to, thank you, if I can just figure out, then could you provide for the committee what you were told at that time at a later moment? And again, this is 10 days before your recusal, or whatever you are, non-participant investigation.
I don't want to, I'd want to work with this committee, but also not prejudice an ongoing investigation of the career staff and so forth as to, so
you won't tell us what you were told then, Mr. Commissioner?
No, I want to work with this committee but it's also what was told to any representative of the CFTC over that weekend, and I was a representative of the CFTC, is also a matter of an investigation as well. So
are you personally being investigated?
No.
Is that why?
No,
okay,
no,
so,
it's just a fact.
So what I ask you as a member of the committee that you will tell us in writing if necessary what exactly you were told at that time of the day.
And just working with the committee and the Division of Enforcement.
Well, I don't care about the Division of Enforcement. This is a request from myself as a member of this committee, and I'm not asking him of the division, and I would just like to know what you and apparently dozens of other folks were told. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.